Today, we're going to follow a truly magical adventure, the story of water. And look, this isn't just any old story. We're talking about one of nature's greatest miracles, a journey that literally never ends and, just happens to be the basis for all life. So, yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so I want you to think about this for a second. That glass of water you might be drinking right now, that water is millions, maybe even billions of years old. Seriously. So let's do this. Let's pick one single droplet, we'll make it our hero, and follow its epic journey. It all starts in the huge, deep ocean, and it's a story of transformation, travel, and coming home that connects, well, everything.
You see, this whole thing isn't just about water kind of sloshing around. It's way bigger than that. It's basically the planet's circulatory system, and it's been keeping life going for billions of years. And the craziest part? This whole magnificent system is powered by just two fundamental forces. What's really incredible is that this whole massive system runs on just two things. That's it. On one hand, you've got the sun. That's the engine, right? It's blasting the water with energy, giving our little droplet the power it needs to start rising up. And on the other hand, you have gravity. That's the guide. It's the force that makes sure everything that goes up eventually comes back down, pulling the water back to Earth and telling it where to go.
So, we've got our engine and our guide all set. Now let's follow our droplet on the very first part of its adventure, the Great Ascent. This is where it says goodbye to the surface and heads way up into the sky, starting a pretty amazing transformation. So this whole trip happens in 4 main stages, almost like chapters in a book. First, there's evaporation. That's the launch. Then you get condensation, the big get-together. After that comes precipitation, the return trip. And finally, flow, the journey home.
All right, let's kick things off with evaporation. The sun's energy beams down, hits the ocean, and gives our droplet just enough of a kick to change from a liquid into an invisible gas, water vapor. Suddenly, it's lighter than air and starts to climb, joining trillions of other liters of water making that same trip, every single day. Okay, so as our droplet gets higher and higher, things start to get chilly. That cold air makes it change back into a tiny liquid drop again. That's condensation. And now, it's not alone anymore. It's joining up with billions of other droplets. And together, they become something totally new, something we can actually see from the ground, a cloud. So after drifting across the sky, our little droplet is about to hit the climax of its atmospheric journey. Yep, it's time to head back down to Earth and finish the loop. So what happens inside that cloud? Well, all those tiny droplets start bumping into each other, merging and getting bigger and heavier. After a while, they just get too heavy for the air to hold them up anymore. And that's precipitation. Depending on how cold it is, our droplet could fall as rain or join with others to become a snowflake or even a chunk of hail. Once it's back on the ground, the last leg of the journey begins. Our droplet might just flow across the land as runoff, finding its way into a stream that eventually leads to a river. Or it might soak deep down into the earth, becoming groundwater. But you know what? Pretty much every path eventually leads right back to where it all began, the ocean. So we've got the sun, we've got gravity, we've got water. It seems simple. But there's another major player in this story, a sort of hidden engine that most of us totally forget about. This is where life itself jumps into the driver's seat. The journey we've just talked about seems all about physics and chemistry, doesn't it? But what if I told you that living things are out there, right now, actively helping to push water back up into the sky? Okay, get ready for a great word. Evapotranspiration. It's a bit of a mouthful, but here's what it means. Plants, I'm talking everything from the tallest trees to the grass in your lawn, are constantly pulling water up from the soil with their roots. They use a little bit to live, but then they actually breathe the rest out through tiny little pores on their leaves, releasing it as pure water vapor straight into the air. So just picture it. Massive forests and huge stretches of farmland are basically giant living humidifiers. They are actively pumping moisture back into the atmosphere, which is a huge deal for creating clouds and even driving our local weather. So yeah, life isn't just along for the ride. It's practically a co-pilot.
All right, we've been following our one little droplet. But now, let's zoom out. Because when you multiply that single journey by, well, a number you can't even imagine, you get a global system that literally shapes our entire planet and keeps everything in this incredibly delicate balance. And this journey has some serious power. As water flows, it's a nutrient delivery service, carrying vital minerals everywhere. Over geologic time, it becomes a planet sculptor,
It carved the Grand Canyon, for goodness sake. And by moving heat from the equator toward the poles, it acts as the world's climate regulator, helping to keep temperatures stable. But here's the thing, and this is the really critical part. This ancient, finely tuned system, it's being thrown off kilter. Our changing climate is messing with the water cycle, and the result is more intense droughts in some areas and more catastrophic floods in others. That delicate balance is starting to wobble. And that is exactly why understanding this whole journey is so important. I mean, if we really get how it works, how crucial it is, then we can start to figure out how to protect it. This knowledge, it's the first step to properly managing our water and protecting our climate.
So the next time you see it rain or just take a drink of water, remember our little droplet. It's not new. It's not going anywhere. It's just in one chapter of an incredible, endless story that connects you to the oceans, to the clouds, and to every single living thing on this planet. The real question is, what part will we play in making sure that journey can continue to sustain us all?